Alrighty, here we go. Why did you come to Japan?
So one is because I've always been obsessed with Japanese culture. I did a world history project my freshman year of high school, and I had to present on Japan, and it was the first time that I had ever been exposed to a culture that was so different than my own. I think specifically Shintoism is what just we grew up in the Bible Belt, and so all I knew was Christianity, which is fine.
Sure.
But to be exposed to something so different, I was like obsessed with it. And I wanted to try the food, and I watched the anime, and I read the manga, and so from a young age, I've been very obsessed. And then my second answer is because I was told that I couldn't do it.
Oh, you can.
Yes, I can.
Oh, you can.
Yes, I can.
Somebody close to me at some point tell me that my dream of living here was unrealistic, and it wasn't feasible. Well, guess what?
Yeah, what's up, that person?
What's up?
Yeah, we here, right.
For me, it's like 80% I loved it, and 20% because I was told I couldn't do it.
Spite.
I am motivated by spite.
That person.
I know, seriously, it was my ex-husband.
Oh.
Even better. I gotcha.
You know why.
You're watching.
Yeah.
Excellent. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Hell
Yes!
yeah. Can you kind of talk a little bit about some of the things that you maybe have struggled with?
Absolutely. I think homesickness just immediately comes to mind. I was born and raised in Charlotte, North Carolina. I stayed there my entire life. So for me, it was a big adjustment, still is a big adjustment, not being able to call, a friend or a family member and get lunch or get breakfast or, just easily see them. You have to plan out when you make phone calls. You have to plan out FaceTimes. Another thing that I struggled with is kind of funny, but it's the sun here. The sun rises at 4:30 a.m. and it sets at 6 o'clock. So my ass is up at 4:30 a.m.
Some of the things that you were not expecting since being here.
The tattoos. I knew coming here that tattoos were a little taboo. They weren't, super societally accepted.
Yeah.
They're really not accepted. I tried to join a gym. I wasn't allowed because I had tattoos.
What?
Yeah, I tried to go to an onsen. Obviously, I have tattoos,
Sure.
so I knew that wouldn't go over well. But people will stare and point. I don't show my tattoos at school.
Yeah.
I did something to point at the board, and my tattoo showed in my classroom. Huge outburst from everyone.
Really?
Yeah. So I didn't really expect that. I thought it would be more she has tattoo,
Yeah,
But it is
yeah.
this serious,
Wolf.
you have visible tattoos, you can't go to the gym, you can't go to the onsen, your students will freak out. So I didn't expect that.
Let's talk about boobs.
Okay, let's talk about boobs.
Below the neck, above the waist, it's definitely them.
You're in school, and a student asked you about what cup size you were. Obviously, you can't hit a kid.
Right.
But
I wanted to.
But yeah.
What happened? Looks like the older brother came home, found the little brother kissing his woman, and slapped the black off him.
Do you think it was more so a maturity thing, or do you think it was more so a cultural thing? And what have you seen with being a female teacher working here?
I think it's a maturity thing and a cultural thing. In America, we come in different shapes, sizes, and colors, right?
Sure.
We are very diverse, and here in Japan, their diversity isn't as diverse, I guess. And so I think that it's cultural in that sense of you're very different from what I'm used to seeing. So I can ask you anything, right? People on the train have asked to touch my hair. And it's kind of I don't know, personal boundary here. So it's you are treated very differently.
Right.
But I think for me, male students approach me in a very different way than they approach female Japanese teachers that I've seen. Oh, hi, Rachel Sensei, touch me, and I'm oh, we don't touch.
No touchy.
I teach high school,
right,
no,
it's not this cute.
No, you're not
shit.
cute,
Right.
you're 18, I need you to stay away from me.
Back the up.
I mean, no thank you.
Right.
They treat me more like a friend. So, but yeah, I did have a student ask me, Rachel Sensei, what size is your bra? And I was just so taken aback of what?
Right.
There's no way he just asked me in front of other students this question.
Oh wow, it wasn't even like in the.
Oh, this is
it
like
was
I'm setting up for class.
Oh hell no.
Yeah, I'm setting up for class.
Oh.
And this is before my co-teacher showed up. So I'm kind of like, I'm alone in the room and I'm just like, oh my God, this is a nightmare. And so I kind of said, well, what's yours? You know? So he was like, oh, and I was like, in America, we don't ask those questions. Like, you know, and I was like, and do you ask those questions to, you know, like other senseis, right?
Yeah.
And he was kind of like, you know, like, and I was like, right, like, no. And so I brought it up to like my supervisor and stuff, and it was handled. And
Sure.
But like, again, I'm not mad. I think it was a good learning opportunity for both me and for both him.
Now we're moving now. First question.
Okay.
Japanese food or American food?
American food?
Okay. One thing you really like about Koriyama?
The mountains.
The mountains.
Yes, I live in a mountain valley.
Yes.
And so no matter what direction I look, I can see mountains.
Scale 1 to 10. 1 being you get to the center of a Tootsie Pop and there's no actual center.
1, 2, 3.
10 being Jack Black punts your dog off the freeway.
Excuse me, what are you doing?
How mad are you that Ariel from the new Little Mermaid is black?
I'm not mad at all.
Okay.
So is that a 1?
It's a 0 because
Okay, I was
no
gonna
one
say.
should be.
I was gonna say.
Get over it.
I'm not. Who is mad? And they need to come talk to us.
Apparently people are mad. The guy does a full deep dive of like, well, scientifically,
Oh
she shouldn't be
my
black. And it's like,
God.
well, scientifically, fish can't talk.
Yeah, scientifically, mermaids aren't real.
So, right, yeah, let's not even go to like fish.
yeah.
Let's just really just.
Reel it
Yeah.
in here, team.
Okay, you killed it. I think I'll check the tape. But
Yeah,
I think
check
you,
the
But I
tape.
think you got 10 out of 10 out of 10. I think you got 3 out of 3.
3 out of 3, which is 10 out of 10 in
Yeah,
my
right,
book.
exactly. How do you define joy for yourself, and how do you pursue it?
I think for me, it's just whatever brings my heart peace. So it's surrounded by good people, or even reading a book, or going on a walk, or just anything that brings me peace. So I have like a funny phrase that I say a lot to my friends, but everything is a wonder. So I think for me, like I pursue it in like the small things that happen daily.
Sure.
Because you can get really caught up in like, you get up, you go to work, you come home, you get up, you go to work. So I think for me, it's finding those things of like look at this view, or like look at this flower I found, or like,
Right.
oh, look at this text conversation I had with a friend. And
Yes.
so I pursue it in the way that I view things.
Do you have anything to say to fellow neighbors?
World travel is not a fantasy. I promise it's not. I didn't have a lot of money. Like I thought that you had to have a lot of money in order to do things like this. I don't have a lot of money, and I made it happen. So it's not a fantasy. It's attainable, I promise.
This has been A Neighbor's Tale with Rachel. Thank you so much again. I really appreciate it.
Of course, thanks for having me.
You've done masterfully. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the bell notification to be notified about future videos that we're going to be coming out with. As Diego Ramirez once said, don't be a dick. Don't be a dick.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Thank you so much again. I really
Yeah, of
appreciate
course,
it.
thank you.
You killed it. Absolutely killed it.
If one more person told me, like, because when I would be honest, be like, I'm really depressed right now.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, go outside. Drink some water. What the like?
I'm not a fucking plant.